Okay, we'll start it right here. So I'm gonna make a video about my 3D double dog, my Burton 3D double dog. In total, I do enjoy this board. This is my first Burton board. This is my first Burton board that I've ever purchased. Construction seems really well made. All the specs that I liked about this board is why I chose it. It is more of a all-rounder 3D shape. The powder days is really, super rockered out, way power specific. But I'm sure it rides pretty well, in all kinds of conditions, but probably not the best for an all-mountain kind of board. And then I didn't really know too much. I think they have the 3D Hometown Hero, I believe they do. And then they have this double dog, which is more of like, it's pretty much to me, it's like a straight up ultimate camber board. I think it has an 8.8 side cut. I got it in a 164 because I enjoy riding bigger boards for if I want to take them in POW, and just at higher speeds they feel more stable. They have a little bit more stability for my weight, because I'm not the tallest guy, but I'm a little bit more on the higher range of the weight range sometimes on boards, so I usually just go bigger because I enjoy, the stability and the speed you get out of bigger boards, in my opinion. So I never got this board in any kind of powder. And yesterday we had a blower powder day at Vail. The temps had been pretty cold for about 4 or 5 days in a row. So the powder that came in, it was that baby powder, champagne powder, blower powder, nothing really wet, heavy, anything like that. And so I was super stoked because I've never gotten this board in powder before, and I really wanted to test out this 3D shaping that Burton has. I'll go into probably do another review of actually the entire board and like the 3D shaping and all that kind of stuff like that. But I just wanted to make a video and see if anybody else out there experienced anything like this. When I first purchased this board, it was on Burton Factory Wax. Third day in, I went to Breckenridge, and whenever it's super cold, like we're talking 20s, 21 below, and you get any kind of dusting of snow on top, like 2 or 3 inches on top of that firm, hard packed kind of groomerish, the snow, to me, in my opinion, that I've experienced, tends to be slightly slower. It's something where it freezes that powder or the moisture or something. I don't know what it is, but to me, it always just seems like it's slightly slower. So third day on this board, there was conditions exactly like that. I think they only got 2 inches, and it was super hard, firm underneath. And I felt the board was just very slow. It was just, that sound that snowboards make when they're not sticking right. There's no glide and there's more friction. They make like this humming kind of noise, and that's what it was doing. And I just chalked it off to maybe the wax was crap from the factory. I was going to give it another wax, and it was all going to be good. So then the rest of my experiences with this board, this has the WFO base, their wide fucking open centered base. And all my experiences with this board had been on straight groomers. No fresh pow, no anything like that. And I waxed it again with the wax I use on all my boards, and it flowed, it glided fairly well. I've never had any issues with the glide on this board on straight groomers. It all seems to always be pretty fast, and nothing that I was, noticing any differences. But yesterday when I went to Vail, it was about 8 inches of pow. As soon as I went into fresh pow, not touched, the board just straight up just in powder, which was a complete bummer, because I really wanted to test out this shape in powder. I really wanted to see what it could do, but it was just a total buzzkill. That right as I got into the POW, it just was straight so slow. It wasn't gliding at all. And then when I got onto this chopped up runs, because it was a day after the dump, it was going, but it was not gliding. It was going, but not gliding. And I just was so bummed out, so just frankly pissed off, because I was so stoked to get this board in powder. And that happened. So I got on a snowboarding forum and typed up, does anybody else have any issues with WFO centered bases, newer Burton board bases with the WFO, especially, this is 2020, so I would assume like 2019, 2018 and up. if anyone has had those kind of issues of them not liking cold conditions and not liking, essentially powder, which doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me at all. So I was just really bummed out that I couldn't get a review on what this 3D shaping does in the powder. But, I put this board up and put it down. Stay. I put this board up, the Burton, and I went and grabbed my trusty Battalion 1, and this base also has a centered base. I'm pretty sure it's up there. It's like a centered 8000. It's one of the fastest bases that Battalion makes. But even this, if it's a centered base, it's supposed to be centered 4, centered 5000, around that range. And same POW, same conditions, a 30-minute difference of me walking to my car and bringing back this board, and this board just demolished everything. It was gliding great. My friend literally was like, what kind of base is that? Because you were just on this board and you were going so slow, and now you're on this one and you're just like smoking. So basically I'm making this video just to be kind of curious. Does anybody else have any kind of have had issues with Burton WFO bases, regardless of what board it is? If you have, please leave me a comment on what kind of conditions it was, or a general, kind of rundown of what the conditions were, maybe what kind of wax you used, or if it waxed, if it was factory wax, or if it wasn't. But I'd like to know, because honestly, I was really disappointed in this board yesterday, and I did not buy a Burton POW, Slayer to not shred POW with. So there has to be a reason. There has to be something. Has to maybe even do with the wax. But it can't be, because I use that wax on every single base that I have, and all my other boards glide well except for this one. So maybe it's the wax, I don't know, or maybe it's something to do with the base, because on the forum I had heard that there was some kind of issues with Burton bases, especially because they switched it up. So if anyone's had any issues like that, drop me a comment, because I would really be curious to hear other people's opinions on maybe just in general about your boards. If you have a newer Burton board, 2018 and up, and you don't have these issues, let me know, because I don't understand what happened yesterday, and I just really like to get to the bottom of it, because I don't want to put this board on the chopping block, because I will sell her if she doesn't glide. That doesn't make no sense. You don't buy a snowboard to not glide. So let me know if anyone's had these issues, and get back to me. Thanks.